Right after I finished making this video, reports emerged from China saying that Xiaomi are planning on selling these, or their two models, the SU7 and the XU7 overseas. So these cars that, well, we're all missing out on right now, will be coming to global markets within the next 12 months. Automakers General Motors, the Volkswagen Group and Nissan have within the last week revealed their China comeback plans. So they're going to do this and that and change a few little things, change the deck chairs on the Titanic in order to claw back all the enormous market share they've lost in China. Yeah, that's so damn unlikely. And why is that unlikely? Well, have a look at cars like the Zeekr 7X. Have a look at cars like the Xiaomi XU7 Ultra. Legacy Auto have no chance in hell of competing with this or ever getting back a single percentage point of market share. That's just not going to happen. The Xiaomi YU7, it's obviously built on the same platform as the SU7, and it obviously looks a lot like a Ferrari Puro saying, I actually quite like this car. It is, in one way though, kind of an interesting experiment. I mean, obviously this thing is not particularly practical. If you look at the shape of it, look at those rear overhangs, those rear haunches, they're really, really wide. It's certainly more a style vehicle. What do you guys think about it? I'm going to share with you the specs and the details and whether or not I think you'll be able to buy it in your country as well. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans, you're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Xiaomi have so much demand for the SU7 right now that they're not bothered selling it to anyone other than the Chinese. They can build an SU7 in around 57 seconds. It takes Tesla around 30 seconds. So they are using Tesla principles to make these vehicles. They use gigacasting, structural battery packs. That helps them speed up production so that they can make cars much faster than some of their rivals. They lose around $5,000 on every SU7 they sell. That's a very good number for a brand new car manufacturer. I'm really impressed by what they're doing. And I think their YU7 is going to be a very, very nice car in many ways. The SU7 has very good reviews. For some customers, it's a little bit overpowered. They have crashed a fair few times. For some bizarre reason, Xiaomi fans hate it when I say that, but it's true. They have seen quite a few crashes because rear-wheel drive, lots of power, and people think they're good drivers, and they're not. Anyhow, the YU7. How big is this thing? Well, it's actually a pretty big vehicle, and that's why it's quite heavy. It's 5 meters long, 4,999 millimeters, so basically exactly 5 meters. It's 196.8 inches. Width, it's actually quite a wide car as well. It's 2 meters wide, that's 78.6 inches, and it's 63 inches tall, that's 1.6 meters. Its wheelbase is fairly long. It's got a 3 meter wheelbase, that's 118.1 inches, and these dimensions are very similar to the SU7. But the SU7 is, I believe, 5.7 inches lower. The SU7 is a much lower vehicle when you see it in person. When you see them in person in China, I was surprised. I thought, wow, that looks a lot more like a sports car than I expected. I think photos just don't really don't give you a real perspective on what it looks like. It looks very sleek, very, very low to the ground. As you can see, the YU7 has bigger wheels. It's jacked up. The wheels are massive. I'm not a real fan of the wheels being so big. For some reason, manufacturers believe putting on enormous wheels is a good idea, but it's a terrible idea. One, it ruins the ride quality. Two, the tires are extremely expensive. Three, the efficiency is horrendous putting on these enormous wheels, and it makes the car slower. I mean, look, there's been numerous drag stripped races with bigger wheels, and the cars are always slower. So my recommendation is, if you're going to buy one of these, get some smaller wheels for it, if that's an option at the time. The interior, I think is going to have a 16-inch central infotainment screen, very similar interior to the SU7. According to data from the Chinese government, the Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the YU7 will be powered by a dual motor setup. The front motor delivers 220 kilowatt. That's 295 horsepower. The rear motor delivers 288 kilowatt, which is about 400 horsepower, 392 horsepower. Combined power is 681 horsepower or 508 kilowatt. That's a lot of power. That in fact gives it more power than the SU7 Max or the Xiaomi SU7 Max. But of course, nowhere near the amount of power that the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra has. Now I assume it's likely they'll have an XU7 Ultra as well. So a super performance version of this car as well. The YU7, what battery does it use? Well, actually we don't know exactly, but we do know that it's a CATL battery, a CATL battery, and it's a lithium ternary battery pack. Xiaomi has not disclosed the exact specifications, but it's likely to use similar battery pack sizes to the SU7, which has a 73.6 kilowatt hour battery in the cheapest version, a 94.3 kilowatt hour battery for the mid-spec version, and a 101 kilowatt hour battery for the longest range version, which gets 497 miles of range. That's 800 kilometers. Real world though, probably 410 miles of range, so around about 700 kilometers WLTP. That's a lot of range, yeah? I mean, I don't think anyone would ever want more than that. Unless you're towing a caravan or an RV or whatever it is. This is probably not really intended to be a tow vehicle though. It's more like a luxury car, to be honest. Pricing from Chinese media is saying it will start at around $34,000 US and be priced at a maximum price of $41,000 for the long range version. I think that's pretty unlikely. I don't think it's going to be that cheap. I think if it is, it's going to sell incredibly well. I mean, it could be, it's possible, but that just sounds a bit too cheap to me. And that would mean it would be a similar price to the Tesla Model Y. Now, honestly, it's obviously a fair bit bigger than a Tesla Model Y, has bigger batteries than a Tesla Model Y, it's a bit more luxurious than a Tesla Model Y. So, yeah, I mean, this is a problem for Tesla and for everyone if the price is that affordable. If it is that cheap, then I don't like using the word game changer, but let's be honest, this would be a game changer. Xiaomi would be wiping the floor with a lot of the competition. I mean, for example, would you buy a BYD C-Line 07 or one of these? Or even the Denza version. The Denza version of the BYD C-Line 07 will probably be a similar price to this. And this is quite a lot nicer. Now, to be fair, it might be this price because the Xiaomi SU7 starts at only $29,700. And you can see why Xiaomi is selling, well, have so many pre-orders. They get well over 100,000 pre-orders. And the base model price is $29,700 for the SU7. And that it really explains why they got so many pre-orders and why they're selling more than 20,000 of a single model every single month. Now, the only reason they're only selling 20,000 a month is because they can't make more of them. Production is going to be happening at Xiaomi's Beijing facility or Beijing factory, with the SU7 recently hit the 100,000 unit milestone. When will this be on sale? Mid-2025. It won't be sold outside of China in 2025, but there's a good chance that the SU7 and the XU7 will both be sold outside of China in 2026 and 2027. Now, I can see them coming to Australia. I can see this being a car that will be purchased by many people. Xiaomi know there's a lot of interest outside of China. They could sell a lot of these. The brand is now, well, it's well known. It's well known the SU7 is a good car. The YU7, I assume, will be pretty damn impressive as well. As for those looks, what do you guys think? I mean, I love the design, but it's clearly not really practical. It's clearly style over, image over function. But to be honest, that appeals to a lot of people. Many people buy a car more for the image than anything else.